Let's get started with the cosmic energy forecast for November 3rd. Is today the 3rd? It is the 3rd to November 9th. All right, so why do we do these forecasts and how to use them is the cosmic energies are always helping us. And they're helping us right now to move into a state of complementary consciousness versus the old state of competitive consciousness. So as we move through these beginning stages into that age of Aquarius, the real question becomes, how do we function? Hopefully you will find this useful. So let's get into the vibrations and frequencies in the week ahead. Shift after shift after shift. There are some big energies to explore this week. And some to stay the heck out of, and some to allow yourself to gorge in. First of all, excuse me, take some deep breaths, right? And whenever you need to center yourself, come back to the breath, which will lead you to your vitality. The more you can stay in your vitality, your essence, the energy of who you are, the easier the next week and 2 weeks will be. There will be a huge magnification of problems this week because we have lots of planets that are moving direct, and there's a couple that are doing sort of this standoff. And as a human race, we like to play heavily into those dualities or those, competitive kinds of energies. And that's really what's happening here. We have these huge influxes of competitive energy that's coming in, trying to hang on to the old ways, the old patterns, the old thoughts. And we as a human race, we like to play in that kind of stuff. So let that be your awareness for the entire week, is that these big standoff kind of energies are just at your fingertips. And you ultimately get to decide if you're going to play in them or not. So why we play in them is it raises our sense of competition. And we have this real need still to be right. So when you're exploring the energies for this week, ask yourself these kinds of questions, right? Am I playing in competition? Do I have this need to be right? That will bring into your awareness where it's ingrained. If we still have those types of cell imprints and where they are, right? So as a human race, we have these ingrained beliefs because we are living this third dimensional reality, and we've been programmed with these for, millions of years. So we're not going to get rid of them overnight, but we can work through them. We can instantly change them if we want to. Okay. So because we have these ingrained belief systems of competition, of being right, of duality, of separation in our cellular structure, and we have lost, can't remember, have real worthiness issues about the abundance. And that's really what the age of Aquarius is, and this complementary kind of energy that we're moving into is the abundance. We tend to fall back into the lack, right? This again, it raises competition. So be aware that there's a huge competitive energy it came in last week, and it's going to stay here for a while. The main thing to do this week is to be committed and consistent to the self. I've been saying this over and over and over, I feel like, but it's really true. The more you are consistent, the more you are committed to your purpose, your mission here, the easier this week will be. Do not try to create new things this week. You can dream about those things, and you can write them down, and you can imagine, and you can feel the energy of whatever's new is coming in, but try not to create them as of yet because of this competitive kind of energy. When we create something in competitive energy, there's always going to be a imprint, a code of duality. Now, if that's your gig and that's why you came here and that's part of your purpose, then go for it. But if it's not your gig, try not to create anything brand new this week. You can work on all the details, just don't manifest it into a reality. Keep it in that sort of etheric kind of energy where it's still building and building and building and building. And when the energies are right, then manifest them into a reality. The other thing about that is you can create whatever's popping in if you know that it is free from shadow. And by shadow, I mean any kind of lack thought, any kind of lack emotion, any kind of lack belief system. If it's completely pure in its form, then go for it. But if it's not, then let it manifest. Let it percolate, right? Let it steam and get brewed, and let it work. Throughout the week, be careful and work on your communication skills. Again, when we have that competitive energy, like our communication, our ability to respond versus react just goes out the door. Why is that? Right? Like why is it that we fumble around our words when we get into these heated competitive kind of moments? Like we say things that we would never ever say ever. We don't even believe those things, but yet they just blurt right out from us. So be very careful about that this week. That competitive energy has a tendency to bring up the denser energies in us. And so, be totally aware of that. So be sure that you are engaging in things that stimulate your bliss this week. Not happiness. Go a step further. I want you to stimulate your bliss. Like be so thankful and grateful and happy and joy-filled that it creates the energy of bliss. When you can get into that sort of vibration, that frequency, and if you have a Healy, use the I Ching, it'll help get you there quicker. But when you can get into that state, like the world just passes you by, you don't even pay attention. Like you don't get into a reactive, competitive kind of energy form because you're just at a whole different vibration. That's where we're looking for. That's what the future holds, is that bliss. That bliss. So if you can get yourself into that, if you can stimulate what brings you bliss, like the week will be very balanced. It'll be very, you'll compliment everyone in your life. And I don't mean by just your words, but your energy. Like you'll be a beautiful match to the people in your life. So thoughts and communication will intensify this week. Stay out of the mass consciousness because I've said before that it's always crazy in there, but it's really crazy in there for the next 2 months. So thoughts and communication are bound to be intensified because, again, that competitive energy is really trying to hang on. It's trying to, keep us all fearful of each other. It's trying to keep us in competition of each other. So be careful of your thoughts and the way that you communicate. Becoming this probing kind of competitive energy will definitely pit people against each other. So be aware of where you're being pitted, of where you're falling into that trap of slavery. Literally, that's really what it is. It's a slavery kind of energy form that pits you against someone else. Observe yourself this week, like become the observer. This takes you out of those lower level conscious thoughts, programs, belief systems, right? And it allows you, when you can observe yourself, it allows you to enter into this spatial kind of vibration where your higher self is easily accessed. Can you feel the energy of the differences? When you're like right here in your form, which I don't recommend you come out of your form, but you're not the body. It's a vessel for you to communicate with. When you can when you can keep your energy here and become the observer, you get to observe all of your thoughts, all of your emotions, all of your belief systems, and you can actually respond to those rather than be in a reactive kind of state where you're just right here reacting to the world. You can sit yourself back and understand the reactions, and then you can come from a very high vibrational place of observer, of this spatial kind of observer, where you can sit back and you can say, oh yeah, I don't want to engage in that, versus being down here in this, back and forth kind of energy, this competitive kind of energy. You can separate yourself from that by moving into this complementary spatial kind of energy form and just witnessing yourself. It's where your higher self, where you can access your higher self in a much easier, very simple way, and you don't have to be in that reactive kind of energy. You see things much more clearly than you would be right here, batting yourself back and forth. So I hope that this helps for the week. Again, stay out of the competitive kind of energy forms because it's going to be hot and heavy. And just observe yourself as much as you possibly can. Be committed to who you are and your mission and your purpose here. Like, let that be your focus for the entire week. It will help you. It will help you stay out of that competitive energy. All right. Have an amazing week. We love you dearly, and stay on purpose. Take care.